All right. Hey everyone, this is Manny with ESTNN. I'm joined by Doublelift, 80 carry for Team Liquid. Week 3, how do you feel? You went 2-0 this week, but how's the team feeling? How are you feeling about the start of the split?
I feel fine. We didn't have a good first 2 weeks because we lost both games on Sunday, and they were games that we basically were winning really hard and then just failed to snowball. So we didn't really want to go back to playing a safe scaling style where we can just steamroll teams with better macro and mechanics, but we wanted to at least like push ourselves to basically put ourselves on a timer and win the game quickly, but like still efficiently. And obviously, we struggle at that. Like, that's really never been our style. We usually play games clean, but like in the Team Liquid way. So, yeah, I mean, I feel good. I feel good. I think we're starting to take it a little bit more seriously and play the regular season how it should be.
Yeah, and last split we had like the top three teams, kind of like it was rock paper scissors, Liquid, TSM, Cloud9. Do you feel it's the same coming into the summer split, or do you think that there's lower teams that are now challenging those spots?
I think some of the teams are a lot stronger than people expect. So, yeah, if you've been following, I think Optic and Golden Guardians are actually quite strong. FlyQuest can be good. They're like on and off, but sometimes FlyQuest can be really good as well. So more than like probably any other time or any other season, like NALCS is has a lot of teams that could win
Yeah.
and could beat each other. And I think that's really good since we're the team that kind of basically has already locked in Worlds. It's important that our practice is good leading up to Worlds. And if our region is strong, then that just makes everybody, and especially us, like a lot stronger as a team.
Right. And going off of that, obviously you had extremely successful MSI run. It was impressive defeating IG and such. Do you think that like with these teams being like getting better, like challenging even like Team Liquid, do you think like this means that NA as a region is actually improving, could actually maybe even challenge like with all three spots at Worlds, or do you think it's kind of like the same as every year?
I think NA is still definitely an underdog coming to Worlds, and if you just look strictly at the results, it looks like NA is the second best region, which is a joke. Like we did pull off a massive upset over IG, and I don't think that necessarily proves that NA is a better region than China. I think it just means on that day we played out of our minds, and we had an incredible like set against them, and overall, I still feel like NA is probably behind LCK, LPL, and LEC, but we definitely have a realistic shot of winning Worlds. Despite that, it's a lot closer than previous years.
Right. And you talked about at the beginning of the split with like Travis, like talking about burnout and such. Like, what are you kind of like trying to do to make sure that it doesn't affect you as much, like going like deeper into the split and such?
Well, burnout is just a mental state. Like it's just about how you perceive your reality. Like, for me, after MSI, I wanted to take a break, and it was like there was no break, so I felt a little bit demotivated or like just not as much energy and enthusiasm about practice as normal. But I think the lesson from MSI was that we could have easily won the whole thing and been the best team in the world, and that means that we could still easily win Worlds and like be the best team in the world, and that would be like incredible. So like obviously all of us have the same goal and the same dream, which is to win Worlds. I just kind of shook it off. It was like a couple weeks where I wasn't feeling great, but obviously working really hard right now is going to pay off at Worlds when the practice from the previous 3 months is going to matter a lot.
Right. And kind of going off of that, obviously we've seen in squad like Xmithy talk about kind of like the meta has changed from MSI. You guys kind of like weren't able to adapt as much like at the beginning. We've seen like a lot of changes in the bot lane, obviously with mages and such. Like, how do you feel like the meta has shifted from like the past, let's say, year? Are you happy with the meta, or do you think like there's still things that could be improved in the AD carry role?
I think that bot lane is relatively the same. It's about your 2v2. You can win bot lane 2v2, which is, I think, a very important aspect of it, that a lot of the matchups that are played right now are skill matchups. But also the team influences bot lane in a lot bigger way than you can just 2v2. So at MSI, like, the way that you just boomed bot lane was the jungler ganked and you flash in with Galio, or you flash in with, I don't know, Alistar or something, or Braum, and basically you just make a play with your jungler and the enemy bot lane is doomed. Now it's still the same thing. You can dive with a mid laner or you can gank with the jungler with these champions, but I'm not sure if bot lane is the lane that's impacted the most. I think with the news changes that's not on LCS yet, but will be, to shielding supports.
Yeah.
That's going to be pretty annoying for everyone to play with, because it's just going to be a bot meta. It's going to be a bottom focused game.
Yeah. So obviously you've been around like forever, and there was a time where mages were kind of like the big thing for bot lane. We still see people like Viper and Griffin, do that. Do you think that's something that you would ever actually try to improve on, like to maybe elevate the game, or do you think sticking to the marksman role is kind of like the way to go?
I think if I found a mage that I naturally was good at, and I think I do have a few that I haven't played on stage yet, but that I feel really comfortable on, then we would play it. I think the crazy thing about playing mages bottom is that you need consistent AD damage from a different source. Like either your jungler has to play Kindred or something, or your top laner should be playing like a heavy AD champion. But that just kind of requires your team to expand their champion pools as a whole. And I think our team plays best with me on marksman and putting practice into that. So that's kind of why we stuck to it. I'd say the closest thing that I've played on stage to mage bottom is Sona, which we have a lot of success with.
Yeah. And kind of like to go off, for solo queue, obviously a lot of people are always looking for pros, right? Looking, at you, at other like big time pros. Like, do you have any tips for people that want to improve in solo queue, specifically in the AD carry role?
No tips no general tips that I can think of. I think solo queue is just about having a mentality that is conducive to your improvement and just putting in the time as well. But yeah, I always had a problem giving people tips.
Yeah. Do you have any last words for, your fans out there that are looking at Team Liquid going into the rest of the summer split?
Thanks for supporting us, guys, and hopefully we make you proud.